Speaking of bitches who think they're hot, Julia Fox.
Oh, yeah.
Can we talk about her?
I'd love to.
This is a shorty. Of course, Julia Fox is on TikTok as well. Not very often.
No, not nearly as much. She used to be a frequent staple on this program, but she's gone away, which is,
yes,
given her personality, very surprising that she's not constantly droning on TikTok.
I wonder if there's a handler or something who's. Well, no, it can't be because we're gonna watch evidence. There's no handler. There's no one telling her not to post things.
Gentle Mother's Day reminder. Consumers in America spend roughly $10 billion more on Mother's Day than they do on Father's Day. So do with that what you will.
What could be done with that?
Mike, I'll tell you what can be done with that. We could tell women to stop complaining.
Yeah.
Oh, you're second-class citizens, are you? Well, I just heard that $10 billion more is spent on Mother's Day than Father's Day. So suck it. You get one day a year, and maybe your birthday too, maybe 2 days a year.
But and I think we're about to see it with these other videos too, where Julie is entering this stage of her career. Maybe Balin will have to deal with this one day too, where she's getting a little older, a little longer in the tooth, maybe a little more matronly. Mm-hmm. And she's saying, you know what I am now? I'm not a hot piece of ass. I'm smart.
Oh boy.
I can make people think. So that was just the first little taste where I don't know what we're supposed to take from that. But she gets more informative in her other videos.
Welcome to another day of Julia Fox University, and today we are going to be talking about common words or phrases that we use in everyday speech that are actually derived from war. I think war has had so many effects on us culturally, but also in the way that we speak and communicate. So I've been making a list of them and I'm ready to share it. I think I've got most of them, but I know that I'm missing some.
Definitely didn't.
She's missing some of them. Yeah, there might be some that I'm missing here, but it's most.
It's not close to all of them.
Mike, it's ridiculous. She's like, this is a pretty comprehensive list right here that we're about to go through.
Also, so I'm listening thinking like, hey, it's probably gonna be douchey in some way, but maybe I'll learn a few things. Like maybe she's gonna list a couple phrases where I'm like, oh no shit, that came from war.
Right.
You can wipe that away. There's zero chance of that.
I'll say there is one example that I had to look up.
Okay.
I'll say that. I don't know if it's actually related to war, but we'll debate that when it comes up.
Okay.
Because I was like, oh, I'm gonna write it down, and then I forgot. So when someone's a loose cannon, when someone's blowing off steam, that was the steam off the ships. When you're in the trenches, that was the trenches.
Oh, no shit.
You know,
wait, that's related to war?
When you're at war with one another, that comes from war.
When you play that card game,
back to
the
square
game
one.
Battleship, that comes from war.
Whoa, yeah, you know what? The word battle's right in there. Well, how did I not think of that? I had no idea.
Call of Duty, these are all war related.
G.I. Joe, the TV show, did you know that has to do with war?
In the trenches, maybe the most obvious.
No shit.
Back to square one. Deadline. The deadline was a boundary around a prison, and if a prisoner crossed it, they would be. When you're going over the top, that was when the soldiers would go over the trenches, and it was, kind of a bold move.
It's also a move that you do when you're arm wrestling. Sylvester Stallone taught me this, over the top. You put your fingers up over the other guy's thumb, and that gives you leverage to win the battle.
It was probably in Rambo that you saw.
Am I dating myself right now? It's actually a movie called Over the Top. Sorry, Sylvester Stallone.
Bite the bullet when soldiers would be getting surgery.
I mean,
without
come
any
on.
kind of anesthetic.
I know.
That is to do with guns?
The
Get
word
outta
bullets
here.
in there, trenches. Like, these are some of the most obvious ones.
So they would bite the bullet. On the front lines, caught in the crossfire, call the shots. AWOL, the word
No
okay.
shit.
Yeah, AWOL, literally, that's the only thing it could mean.
I've never known that to not be a reference to, like, they've
Correct,
gone
yeah.
AWOL. I've not heard it used any other way.
Yeah, the Beastie Boys had a song, but now I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
I just love the fact she's like, do you guys know what trenches actually means? Like, yeah. What else could it mean? Of course.
Loose
which was
cannon.
opposite of KO. So if you were okay, it means you were alive. Bikini. Bikini was named after a bomb going off somewhere. I can't remember, but I just wrote it down.
Oh, good. I'm glad you're teaching us then.
Okay, Mike, this is the one that I was like,
I didn't know that either. I'll give it that. Yeah.
So I looked this up. And she's saying that bikini's related to war. I don't know that that's true. But there was an island called Bikini Atoll where the U.S. conducted nuclear bomb tests in 1946. Now, that's after the war. Whatever. It's nuclear bomb tests. I guess that's has to do with war. And the reason why the person who invented the two-piece bathing suit came after that is that he said, this is going to set off explosions in people's pants, as if it's Bikini Atoll in 1946. And everyone were like, that makes sense.
I like the cut of that guy's jib. I'd rather learn about that guy than listen to whatever this
Right, yes. Let's talk more about the bikini, please. But please, you don't need to model one. We're good.
Trench coat, the garb that they would wear in the trenches.
Right.
A
Big on
bombshell.
trenches.
She loves the trench talk.
Oh,
Here.
I'm sorry. We just stepped on one.
Oh, yeah. Let me back it up a little bit.
How would anyone not
The garb
equate
that they
Okay.
would wear in the trenches. A bombshell.
This to do with war? Come on. No way.
nuclear weapons?
When someone's shell shocked. Gung
Machine Gun Kelly. That's another example.
shell shocked. Gung ho. That's pretty sure it's a Chinese term, war term. And khakis.
Hold on. I didn't look that one up. Isn't Gung Ho Japanese?
Oh,
Because the
I'm not
movie
sure.
Gung Ho is about a Japanese company, which is why I'm basing that on. Michael Keaton.
Well, that movie is based on war, then. Apparently.
It's actually not. It's about industry and manufacturing. Whatever. It doesn't matter. Moving on.
The Holocaust also comes from war.
Genocide.
So yeah, I know that I missed some. So please in the comments, let me know which ones I missed because I get so excited by this kind of stuff. I just always kind of wondered where these terms came from because they're so random. And now we know. Okay, let me know, guys. Love you.
So, Mike, I took this opportunity to think of like some terms that we use that are actually related to baseball
Okay.
that maybe you didn't think of. Like, for example, when Julia Fox was 11, she went to third base. I don't know if
That
you knew
is
that.
true.
Her
That's
makeup,
where I thought it was from that book.
her makeup is an error.
Oh, okay.
Bet you
I'm
didn't,
learning
bet
so
you didn't know
much.
that. As far as like failed TikTok videos, she's batting 1,000. Everything she wrote in her book is out of left field.
And these aren't specific to Julia Fox. These are baseball terms.
These are baseball terms. I bet she has
interesting.
a smelly bunt. All right, that was a stretch. That one I made up.
That's the bikini of this list.
You're right. Yeah, good point.
But here's the thing about Julia Fox. Here's the twists and turns you take with Julia.
Yeah.
I at least thought it was going to end with some pandering speech about how. So
Right.
you see how violent our society is. It's just like, no, I really like these. They're cool. It's like, oh,
Yeah. Well, you're right. What was the point of that? Because the way
Who
it
gives a
started,
shit?
I forgot by the time it ended. Like what even the point was. That's why it's just like, well, here are things that are related to baseball, or here are things that came
Yeah.
from France.
no, it started with you're attending Julia Fox University. I hope tuition is free.
Yeah, I hope it's not like Trump University because you might have lawsuits in the future. All right, we have one more from Julia, and she's very proud of herself, and she thinks that she's a pioneer.
In many ways.
Okay, so obviously they were not casting the movie off Craigslist, although honestly, it's not a bad idea.
That's a
She's
great idea. Sounds like a good picture.
I know. She's responding to a comment that says, "Wait, I need the T on the Craigslist ad leading to Uncut Gems." By the way,
Okay.
where I just paused the video. This is a hideous monster that we're looking at. This is a thumbnail in the future. You listening, Casey Day? All right, let's get back to the video.
So basically, I answered an SW ad and started working at an establishment where I then met this really rich man who then bankrolled the next 10 years of my life.
Hey, la. I'm reading the book. Shut up, Julia.
Yeah. I know we're getting ahead of ourselves here. That's all right, but keep whispering about this.
Bankrolled the next 10 years of my life. Mind you, I was a teenager. I was in high school. And at the time, this was unheard of. Like nowadays, it's like girls have OF and like now we're proud to be Bobs. But at the time, like it was like the early 2000s. Like we did not talk about stuff like that. Like it was like.
Do you think the
shame on
police are
you,
coming
take
for
that
her?
shit to
Why
the-
is she whispering?
That's a great question because
There's
the
a
sirens
siren in the back.
outside
It
are
sounds like she's
louder.
whispering for it.
The siren outside is louder than her talking to her phone in her apartment for some reason.
grave. And obviously, like, I'm just not gonna live in shame. And I was living my truth and I was out there. And that's how, when the directors of the movie were writing a part for a young girl with an older guy and she's getting her money, they thought of me. So that's why I always say, live your truth.
All right. My problem with this is that she is saying that she's the first whore to ever exist. Can you guys believe that I was like a young whore and some guy bankrolled my life for 10 years and made me famous? Yeah.
Hey, if you can dream it, you can do it.
I'm not going to lie to you. This has been happening for eternity.
Yeah.
This is the oldest profession of what you're talking about. This is not impressive. It's like nowadays there's OnlyFans. Right. But this is not a new phenomenon.
And you know what? Like, Kim Kardashian can do that. She can say, hey, look, I started by making a fucking sex tape. I'm a billionaire now. I
Right.
get people out of prison. You know, look at me now.
Yep.
What has Julia Fox done to be like, I was in Uncut Gems, and then look what I went on to?
Yep.
I'm telling you, bullet wound is a term from war.
Speaking of which, this whole thing about being a whore and having a guy bankroll you, Jordan Hudson,
Oh,
Bill Belichick's girlfriend.
yeah.
Did you see her ex-boyfriend is 64 years old?
I saw something like that. Yeah. Yeah.
Her ex-boyfriend is like this real estate mogul or business guy.
And I think he's still like thinks there's a chance or something.
Yeah,
'cause
he's
he
still
was like,
smitten. He's like, oh, she's great.
She's terrific.
She's great. When I saw that, my jaw dropped. I was like, oh, so Bill Belichick's not even the first one to fall for this.
I know. It's getting embarrassing. Bill has some big I think he's doing an interview with Strahan or something tomorrow on Good
Okay.
Morning America. We'll see. We'll see how that goes.
Well, didn't UNNC come out and say she has nothing to do with our football program? Like they had to make a statement.
I haven't been following it that closely, but I know Pablo Torre did a bunch of coverage of it. And I guess there's like strife there's a struggle where the family is trying to get her out, basically.
Yes.
Like the family knows how bad this could get, and they're doing everything they can to stop her. But I don't think Bill's hearing it.
Well, I don't know. We'll find out because apparently there's something in his contract where the team can buy him out for $1 million and he'll never coach a game. And I think it's like June 1st deadline or something like that.
We're getting there. We'll see how the interview goes tomorrow.
Right. Maybe that's what he's going for. Just like, I don't feel like coaching this shitty team. I'll
Take
take
$1 million bucks and
move
keep
on.
getting laid.
Right. Maybe go back to the NFL as a linebacker coach or something.
I don't know if the NFL would have him. I guess as a linebacker coach, I think they'd take him.
I mean, yeah,
I don't know if an NFL team would want her around.
No, he's a distraction. He'd be a problem. The Browns would take him. Actually, you know what? The Browns would definitely take him.
Okay, all right.
The Browns are like, let's draft 2 quarterbacks. Let's bring Bill Belichick back. Why not?
Yeah.
What could go wrong?
Go to blindmike.net for Blind Mike or go to whoarethese.com for Karl. And make sure you subscribe to both channels or there will be no banter.